This is Chie Satonaka, and you're listening to the Giant Sword Podcast. You better eat more meat.
Hello, and welcome to this week's Giant Sword Podcast. I'm your party leader, Nick Lynn. Joining me today is Taylor Hoyt. What's up?
Back finally.
I know, it's been like a month.
Yeah, so for people wondering what happened, I just got very stressed out with work and I needed to take a break from a lot of things, and things are better, so that's kind of the main reason why we haven't had a podcast in a while. So apologies, but you know, we'll be better going forward, especially with E3 right around the corner. We can't be missing that.
And it sucks that like everything started to happen at that time when all this news came out. It's just like, ugh.
That's the bummer part.
Yep. But let's get straight into the news. Okay, so we're just gonna go to the news that are important to us, because there's a lot. There's been a lot, and you guys obviously know what we're gonna talk about. So let's start. Let's start with we finally know what Persona 5 Royale is.
Yep.
And it's exactly what I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
It is Persona 4 Golden. So, how are you feeling about that?
So they added a lot of new content based on what they showed. So that third semester that we were bummed that they skipped from Christmas to February, you're gonna be able to play that now. So that for anybody that never played Persona 5, those months just get skipped.
They usually always do in every Persona. Those months always get skipped until like the new version comes out. Have you noticed that?
So, no, I have. Yeah, it's weird, and I don't know why it happened, or why they do it like that. But I'm happy to be getting more content. I don't know how this is going to work in the course of the game, but there's a grappling hook. So maybe it'll make it so you can traverse the dungeons faster or something, or there's more areas, or I don't know what that's for. But
well, if you look at the trailer, it shows new areas, like new events in the palaces.
Oh, interesting.
So
okay.
I think every palace is being redesigned, and the grappling hook is probably going to be used in them.
That's cool.
That's what I think.
That's cool. Yeah, and there's like they've shown new like areas, like there's the place where you can play pool and darts.
Like the
arcade. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Of course, I love the new character Kasumi. She's really cute.
They need to cover up her legs though. Can't play.
Can't do that. Yeah, too sexy. Yeah, and then there's like all these hints of like. There's a scene where it shows Futaba sitting next to somebody, and he's like, "Is that her mom, or is that her friend that she talks about?"
It looks like it looks like her mom. Like
it does.
So it's like, what does this mean?
And then there's Mangana.
Mangana, yeah, it's obviously him because they've said it's like, who is this guy? Look at his eyes. And then the newest one is. There's a scene where the mysterious new handsome guy sleeps in the same bed as the protagonist. Like, okay, obviously we know who that is.
So yeah, and so there's been a lot of theories like, oh, is this like an alternate timeline, a different dimension, or something like that? So I don't know how this all plays out, but you know, they obviously whenever they do the Golden or the FES or whatever, they always retcon some things, which is fine. So I'm very curious. I mean, if we thought. You want me the original was long.
Yeah.
But this is going to be even longer.
It's going to be crazy long. You know, people are complaining. They're like, oh my gosh, Atlas is milking Persona 5. I mean, how can they do this? It's like...
Did you pay attention?
No, it's like, you guys are obviously, like, from the Persona 5 camp. This is what we expect?
Yeah.
Settle down. Yeah, we're waiting for this. We knew this was coming.
Yeah, because so think about this. So there was Persona 4, and then there was Golden, and then there was Arena, and then there was Dancing All Night, and then there was Q, and then that was it, and then there was the anime. So 5 has had all that. They're doing Q2. They're doing, obviously, Royal is like the Golden Edition. They had a dancing game. And then they have another spin-off, which we'll get to in a second.
Yep.
And then there is a heavily rumored Persona 5 arena with like the Dragon Ball Fighters kind of art style.
Oh, I can't wait to see that because we know it's there. We know it's there. They said so themselves, and we're just waiting for it.
I think that'll be next year because the Grand Blue fighting game will be out this year, and
Isn't it out? It's out in June, right? Or is it out in?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't know it had a release date.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I think they might show it actually at E3.
Yeah, that hopefully some new relink footage. Maybe that'll have a release date.
So here's the thing.
With Royal.
Or with the Royal, yeah. So people, people were expecting like you said. I don't know. You posted on Twitter that different timeline kind of thing. I don't think so. They might have retconned. This is my theory. It's not true. They might have retconned.
Oh, interesting.
I have a feeling that it was like a body double. Like they captured her. They took her away, right? So they could use her research. So they research for them, and they put a body double, and they killed her. Killed the body double.
That's interesting.
Okay, this is totally out there, right? But I'm just thinking that's like, they could do that, you know? I mean, it makes sense that they need her research to do all this. I mean, it would be dumb just to, we're totally spoiling stuff.
Meh.
Oops. So, we're gonna put a light Persona 5 spoiler, or not light, but Persona 5 spoiler warning.
Yeah, have a little pop-up thing.
Yeah,
that shows up.
But yeah, so it's like that was interesting, and they show a picture of a New Year's gathering of all the Phantom themes. So you know what that means?
Fun events, yay!
That and they might have retconned something. So
oh yeah, because the whole reason you can't they skip it. There's a good reason for that. So it seems like they're going to change the story a lot.
Yeah, so that's good. So after this, this came out recently. There was a issue of Famitsu that had an interview with the director. Mm-hmm. And here's a couple of tidbits that they're doing from it. It said the reason the subtitle's Royale is because we want to express our enthusiasm and make a gorgeous title. Okay. We're not simply adding new elements. We're making it easier to earn experience points so you can play at a better tempo. The play assist feature further implements everyone's voices into the game. It considers your character parameters and confidants, then suggests a destination which you can move to with a push of a button. So I don't know. I never used the play assist feature. Did you?
I didn't. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. Maybe it's. Yeah, I don't. No idea. We're making the volume of the newly implemented third semester to go beyond the expectations for those who have experienced the volume of Persona 4 Golden. So what they're saying is it's bigger than Golden.
Huh. Or bigger than what they did for Golden, maybe?
The new character Kasumi increases the perspective and flavor of the story and is someone who will expose existing characters in a new light. Naturally, she'll be tweaked to blend into the story, and as you play through the game, you'll see a different side of her from the teaser trailer. Kasumi also has a confidant you could level up. Nice. The new confidant, Maruki, is an extremely nice adult character.
Yeah, he's like the guidance counselor or something.
Yeah, right? So he's a nice guy. So he's not going to be a bad person. If we had to say yes or no to there being new confidants other than Kasumi and Maruki, we would have to say yes. Look forward to more information in the future. You get if you have a save data for Persona 5, you'll get some sort of bonus. There are 20 new music tracks.
Wow, that's a lot.
And yeah, the Mangana. So that is a news, and there's more news from Persona 4 Royal. Has a new director. Mm-hmm. Which is he was a director from Persona 4 Golden.
Oh, that's good.
So we know we're in good hands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my only hope, and I've said this before, my biggest problem with the game was the characters didn't seem to have fun in the same way that they had fun in Golden. Mm-hmm. You know, like there were I've said this before, like the camping, when you take the school field trip, there's like more fun events, and like every time there's an event in 5, it gets like it rains or something bad happens. So I'm hoping they let the characters just have more fun in
grow, make them grow more.
in Royal.
That's what they said. They said that they're going to do that. More date spots. More date spots, Taylor.
Oh, heck yeah, dude. Well, especially with Kasumi, I wonder how early into the game she gets introduced. Because, like, if she's one of the first characters you get, she must be, like, you know, there. Like, that's going to change the whole dynamic of the rest of the game, so...
She's going to be there after Haru? So you're going to have even less time to, you know...
I can't imagine that. Because don't you meet Marie pretty early on in the game in Golden?
Yeah, I think you meet her at the beginning of it.
Yeah, I think so.
You go into... You go, like, you know when you're supposed to go into the Velvet Room from the shopping district?
Mm-hmm.
She's there. Or one of her poems are there, and she's like, oh, I hate you, blah, 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 blah. You know how she does.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to wait till next year, but good time to be a Persona fan, to say the least.
Oh, next year to play it. I just don't want to get any spoilers, man. I had to get all trails, you know, scarce for information of this game.
For whatever it's worth. I mean, when 5 originally came out, it came out in September in Japan, and it came out the next April in America. So we're used to those big gaps, which sucks. But hopefully, the gap is smaller.
And we just know that there's going to be another, you know, controversy with Atlas when the game releases, because people like to complain about Atlas. Because the new fans are awful. I'm sorry to say that.
Well, that's the thing. They're projecting like American culture and ideals onto a Japanese game, and it's like you have to understand that like the way Japan sees things is totally different, and like what you find offensive, that just might be normal for them. Like I know they were talking a lot about in Catherine all these transgender issues that weren't there, and like Japan is very progressive when it comes to that stuff. Like people are very androgynous there, so I'm wondering if what people are thinking are offensive. That's just, I don't know. I don't know what their thinking was behind all those things. I just think people are making a bigger deal out of something than it needs to be.
Breaking news. Taylor is a transphobe.
That's right.
You're going to have like 5 other postings, and then suddenly there's going to be an article about you having a 18+ Snapchat.
That's right.
Asking for nudes.
Oh my God. Me and your brother were talking about that. It's like, dude, like, don't be. I don't understand how people think they can get away with that just because they're popular.
I don't know. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. All right, this Persona 5 spinoff has Taylor super excited. Then once I heard about this, it's like, oh, it's this kind of game. Taylor's all over this.
Yeah.
So Omega Force developed action RPG Persona 5 Scramble, the Phantom Strikers, announced for the Switch and and PlayStation 4, which is a Musou game.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Musou games, I feel like your mileage will vary with those games depending on what the franchise is. So for me, I love Fire Emblem, or at least the modern Fire Emblem, and I put in that over 100 hours into Fire Emblem Warriors. I bought a DLC pack. Like, I did everything in that game. It was so fun. And so I just think I'm probably going to do something similar. I'm probably going to get the Platinum. I'm going to do everything. The only question that remains is, are Persona 4 and Persona 3 characters going to be in it? Because the cast, even if you add Kasumi and they tease like a made-up character, that's like 10 characters tops. So those Musou games usually have 20-ish. So I'm wondering where they're going to fill that in.
And they usually have characters from like all over the franchise. So I wonder.
Yeah, because it's like usually those types of games, like Persona 4 Arena had Persona 3 characters. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got 3 and 4 characters. But
I wouldn't be surprised if we get 2 and 1 characters.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
Right?
That would be a real stretch.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
there hasn't been.
yeah.
They haven't really shown anything, right?
They showed that teaser, and that was it. It was barely anything.
Yeah. So we just know it's being developed. Probably see it more information in June. And I have a feeling that you're gonna get this for the Switch.
Me, no, I won't, only because of trophies. I want the platinum.
Oh, there you go.
That's the only reason. But yeah, if Nintendo had some kind of trophy system, I might. But I just know I'm going to dump so many hours, and I'm gonna want some type of trophy achievement thing. So that's probably what I'm going to get it on, and it'll look better anyway. So.
But the portableness, Taylor.
You're right. Well, here's the thing.
You're like, screw it. I'm buying on both.
Yeah, buy both, whatever. Well, my left Joy-Con is busted. Like, it'll randomly hit buttons when I don't need to, and it's really annoying. So I either need to fix it or get new Joy-Cons.
Those are expensive.
They are. No, that's the really bummer part, is they're expensive. So I don't, and I've sort of been waiting to see if they like do Fire Emblem Joy-Cons or something for Three Houses, but I doubt it. Maybe for Pokemon, I don't know, but
maybe
we shall see. Are you gonna get that game? I know you don't really play those kind of games. But...
It depends on what it is like. If it's like straight up Muso, typical. I don't know, but the Persona franchise it has a Persona franchise on it, so maybe it'd be more tolerable. Because I played the Dragon Quest Warriors one, and I have no idea what Dragon Quest was, and I mean I knew what it was, but I don't have any like knowledge on it, and so it didn't really grab me. And I played the Zelda one at Jake's house, and that was fun, but it's like same thing. I mean I played Majora's Mask. That's all I really know. So
that's the thing. Like your mileage totally varies depending on the franchise. So, what? People were saying this. I am super surprised they've never done a Final Fantasy Warriors. Like, I don't know why they haven't done one.
Final Fantasy Warriors?
Yeah, or Final Fantasy Muso.
I don't know. I mean, yeah.
I feel like that would sell. That would be a nice fill-in game. Because usually what those are like fill-ins to like keep fans happy in between the main games. So, man, I don't know why they haven't done it, because there's so many characters. You could have like 50 characters to play in that game.
Maybe Square's being stingy with the franchise.
Well, remember, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, they had that Dissidia fighting game, and that was made by, I think, Team Ninja or Megaforce, the same Koei Tecmo, So I don't know why.
Well, sadly, it wasn't that good. So
I know, I didn't even play it.
It's the 3v3 thing. The 3v3 thing didn't make it good. That's what everyone says. If it was just 1v1, it would be awesome.
That's a shame.
Speaking of Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC Remind was announced.
Okay, be honest with me. Do you care about Kingdom Hearts 3 or anything Kingdom Hearts until 4 or whatever the next thing is?
Yeah,
or does it interest you at all?
Yeah, it actually does. I didn't even know. I haven't read anything about it, and I read over it. I'm like, oh, it's like there's new scenarios and episodes in Kingdom Hearts 3. It's not like a side story, or maybe it is a side story, but it's not like a after story. It's more like side story stuff. So that's interesting. And then I want to replay it for critical mode.
Oh yeah.
So that came out, and I haven't been able to do that for a bit. There's free downloadable content adding a new Keyblade form. So.
Oh snap!
There you go.
Yeah, for me, like Kingdom Hearts 3 almost it reminds me in a way of Ni no Kuni 2 from last year. Not that it was disappointing; it was fine. Like I had not been invested in that series in a really long time. But it was just like, oh, it came out, it was good, I enjoyed it, and then I forgot about it.
Yeah,
so,
I haven't forgot about that. The ending got me. I'm like, why did you do this?
Let him be happy.
Yeah,
come on,
right, come on, let's end it. Nope, there's like 5 endings and 5 new storylines and 20 new characters and Sora.
Well,
but yeah,
the whole thing was now it's not going to be Disney stuff, maybe, but we'll see.
well, no Xehanort anymore, so
Hmm.
no more time travel. That was crazy.
Dun, dun, dun.
But yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2 DLC. But for reals though, they showed off Final Fantasy VII after 4 years. It's a thing still, and they tease that it's gonna come. More is gonna come in E3 time.
In June, I remember leading up to the state of play, there were rumors like, "Oh, Hashimoto, the producer, is like saying that you should watch it or whatever." And I was like, "You guys are getting your hopes up. Don't get all excited because the last state of play was so bad."
Yeah.
I was like, "There's no way they're going to show it at a state of play. They're going to like save it for E3." And sure enough, I was like, "Okay, I'm waiting." I watched it till the very end. And I was like, "No way, they're actually showing it."
Yeah, the state of play
And
was
it looks so good.
the state of play was actually decent, and it was just like, bam, 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 and it wasn't just all random indie games. So that's why I'm happy.
It was nicely balanced. There was like it was bookended by two big things that people care about. They had medieval right in the middle,
Yep.
and then they had a couple small games that people had not heard of before. That's how you should do it. Like kick it off with something strong, end it with something strong, and then fill it in with some new things that we probably wouldn't hear about otherwise. I think that's a perfect way to do it.
Did you like the tease at the beginning of the state of play?
I heard that, and I was like, that can't be what I thought it is.
Yeah.
But I was like, is that the start menu thing from Final Fantasy? But
That's what it sounded like. I was like, that's a Final Fantasy VII song. And,
yeah.
and I'm at work, right? I was at work, and I'm like, oh wait, state of play is right now. The state of play is about to happen, or the state of play is today. And then my manager's like, hey, take your break. I'm like, okay. So I went to take my break, took my phone out, and the state of play was happening. It was starting right then. It was like at 2:58, and it was like, oh, it starts at 3. Perfect. And it's only 10 minutes long. Even more perfect. And I was just watching in the break room, and I was freaking out. And people were like, who's this weird guy?
But yeah, what do you think? Like, I mean, it only showed like the first hour or two, maybe. Like it's Midgar. It's
they showed Eris, and it's Eris.
They did show Aerith.
I know it's Aerith now, but
I'll
PS2,
never get used to that.
yeah, PS1, it's Eris.
Yep.
It's like saying Cloud's name is Clouth.
Clouth. Well, the part that bothers me is it sounds like you're saying her name with a lisp now, because I've only known her as Eris, and now it's like, hello, Aerith.
Aerith.
It just sounds weird
Tifa.
to me. Yeah, they teased Tifa because they have her name as a party member, but they very cleverly did not show her at all. So that's probably a reveal for E3. But I'm excited. And the part that bums me out is they said that it's still going to be multiple games or multiple parts.
A lot of things said. A lot of games journalists, game sites, friggin' said that it's still in multiple parts. But if you read the damn translation, it says for Final Fantasy VII Remake, which will be reborn on the PS4. They're still calling it the remake, and it's still only on the PS4. There is a lot of content to review in doing a full remake, and production is underway as multiple parts. I don't know, like it could mean anything. For me, it seems like they mean that the production is like there's multiple teams working on it, doing different parts, and it's gonna come together at the end. It could mean that it's still, in multiple games, but we'll find out in June. I'm just saying that the way that they're, pushing this, it's like, oh, it's one full game. Still, they keep calling it the Final Fantasy VII Remake. They're not calling it Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1 Midgar.
Well, maybe that's what it's very unclear how they're going to release this.
Yeah.
Because is it literally like one game a year for 3 years in a row? Is it that you release the game and at launch you can play up till the end of Midgar, and then like later they will add bigger chunks? Because like I don't want to play the game like that. Like I know how the game flows. I know what happens. And it would be so annoying to like as I'm getting invested, it's like, oh my god, I have to wait a year now to go to Calm and Cosmo Canyon. Like I don't want to. I just don't want to play the game like that. So I'm hoping because they said the whole reason they're doing that is so they could get the game out faster. Well, that didn't happen because they announced it, and 4 years later the game's still not out. So is it like episodic, like what Telltale does, like over the course of like 6 months it'll be done, over the course of a year, over the course of 3, 5? We don't know what that means, and that's the only part that frustrates and annoys me.
Maybe
right now.
You buy Final Fantasy if they do this. I think the best way for them to do this. Don't be a money grubber. Don't do every part as $60. You buy the game, right? You buy Final Fantasy VII Remake, and it's like, okay, right now this section's out, and in about 6 months this section's out, and so you can play it, and then on the main menu you could select which part you want to play, and then when it comes out it's automatically there. You update it and it's automatically there. You don't have to buy it again. You just start where your save file is. That's what they should do if they need to do multiple parts. I'm just hoping they just, it's a straight up whole remake, because I'm thinking Midgar's a huge part of the game, right? But then there's no like really central area like Midgar for the rest of the game. It's all
isn't. Yeah.
It's all just a typical RPG. So that'll be, I don't know where they'll cut in the second part. I mean, to be honest, I can see where they could end it. The
game's old. Like I feel like we can spoil this game. It's 22 years old.
No, we don't want to. So you don't have to say it, because there's a lot of people who haven't played Final Fantasy VII and don't know about this.
Are you talking about that moment?
Yes, that because that's where the second CD ends, right? After that scene. I
think so.
Where's the second?
I forget. It's been so long.
I don't know, but that's a good place to end, because that's when like a whole new section of the game starts. And they could really develop, because it seems like this is what they're doing. They could really develop Cloud's arc, because we all know what happens to the Cloud. And because you don't get teased, you don't get shown that until like the third CD. I'm pretty sure that whole
like
thing
who he really is. Yeah, that happens like near the very end of the game. Yeah. So
they are teasing that right now, like
in the Sephiroth stuff. Yeah.
In the second CD, on the second trailer, the one from 2005 at PSX, they show him having like so it's like, oh well, they're showing it already. That's interesting. And then Sephiroth is there, which he's obviously not there. I'm sorry, people. Sephiroth is not at that scene. It's a hallucination from Cloud. So it's gonna be interesting to see that grow. So that's what they could do, but I just want to see a full blown game. If it's a full blown game like Resident Evil 2, it'll be the best thing ever made. So
yeah. Well, they keep saying, they're like, oh, well, there's so much, we can't possibly fit it into one game. It's like, that's a lie. Like, the game, like you said, like, Midgar's huge, but I'm trying to think of other towns that are big. Like, Gold Saucer maybe is big, but it's not as big as Midgar. Like, Midgar is huge, but then, I know the order of the game. So they go to Calm, that's a tiny town. They go through the mountain. You can go to Fort Condor, that's optional, and then you go to Junin Harbor, which is small. You get on the boat. Corel, Cosmo Canyon, Gold Saucer, Rocket Town. Like, there aren't big towns. So the only thing I can think of is maybe they want to get really ambitious and make those bigger and more fleshed out, which I would be okay with. But I don't want to wait 3 years to play the full game when we've already waited 4. Like, that's ridiculous. So
I'm just thinking,
hopefully all things become clear in June.
If they show areas outside of Midgar, they show different characters like Sid, Vincent, and all those people, I don't think it's going to be a multiple release, because that's already there. If they show any outdoors places, so Red 13, they show
Well, Red 13's in Midgar.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
They show Gold Saucer. They show all the areas. They show the meteor. They show Ultimate Weapon. They show anything outside. that's like a lot, not just like a little tease,
Yeah.
then we're like, okay, we might get more than just Midgar in the first release.
Well, that's what everybody's saying. Like, oh, it's going to end at Midgar. I'm like, if you think about the scope of the game, Midgar isn't that much of the whole game. Like, I want to say the game's like 30, 40 hours, and it takes you maybe 6 or 7 to get out of Midgar. I could be wrong. I mean, I might be misremembering that, but I feel like people are inflating how much of the game Midgar is.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, here's what I feel like. I feel like you get out of Midgar, you go to Calm, and you do the exposition dump, and then that's when you cut it, because it gives you the flashback of Sephiroth and what's happening, and then that could get you excited for what happens next, because you're like, okay, now we're on the chase for Sephiroth. Now we know what he's up to and who he is and all that. So that's my guess, but I don't know if that's what's going to happen.
I'm trying to remember what happens in Midgar. So it's the bombing run, and then
Bombing run, you go back to the bar.
Go back to the bar.
Then you do another.
Oh yeah, you do another
bomb.
one, and then doesn't that not work? Right? That fails. You get caught.
No, you do it, and then you fight the boss, and then that's when Cloud falls in Aeris' church.
Yes, again, that's Aeris' church.
And then she fixes you. You go back to her house, and then you leave, and then
you figure out that didn't you figure out that Tifa got taken?
Yeah. So there's Tifa. Then you have to rescue her from Don Corneo, and then you go in the sewer, and then when you come up from the sewer, that's when the pillar falls,
and
I think the plate falls, and then I think at that point you go to the Shinra Tower. I think. Yeah, I think the plate falls, and then you go to Shinra Tower, and then that's it.
That's the end. So that's the story beats of everything.
Yeah. Obviously, that all plays out in different ways, because they show Shinra Tower. Like, there's the shot where Cloud and Barret are fighting the Buzzsaw guy. That's an enemy in Shinra Tower, and the environment looks like Shinra Tower. So
yeah.
They show a lot.
So let's gush a little bit about the trailer or the teaser.
It looks amazing. Aeris looks perfect.
They showed the first scene of the game where the camera just goes down to Aerith.
Mm-hmm. Aerith.
I liked that during, you know how there's the countdown when at the beginning of the bombing run?
Oh yeah.
It has the same exact font.
It does, yeah.
It's the same exact font. And I'm like, nice details, man. I'm glad they're doing that. They're not adding like crazy fonts. Sorry.
Nick is sickly.
Nose is sickly. The battle system. People are saying it's action-y. People are saying that it's Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy 15. They haven't shown. If you look at the battle system, it threw me off because it always looked like that the enemies where you're fighting was always in a boxed area.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's just where they were at, and you never see when they're fighting. You never see them walking around. They're always standing still. So I'm like, I'm wondering if the battle system is sort of action-y, but it's more like FF12. Like you see everyone else moving around doing stuff, but I'm not 100% on that.
Yeah, well, so if you look at the UI for the whatever the characters and all, there's a bunch of different bars. And one of them is clearly a limit break bar because it takes up the entire thing. but there are 2 bars under each character, and I'm wondering, is that an ATB bar? Because I wonder it might be some sort of hybrid like Final Fantasy, or Lightning Returns. Because what that is, you can move around, but then when it's your turn, you put in inputs, because they had like hot menus for potions and stuff, and then they had like a hot menu for limit breaks, but then it said like Punisher. That must be some kind of new attack, and then there was just a straight up attack button. But with Barret, you'd think it'd be like Prompto, like a third person shooter thing, but it's not. Like it's very clearly like from the side. So I'm wondering if it is some kind of hybrid turn based real time thing.
Yeah, so I'm not 100% on that. We also saw something that's very similar to Kingdom Hearts. There's a shortcut menu.
Yeah, which I like. Yeah.
So that puts it towards being like an action game. So I don't know. You also see the materias in the Buster Sword.
Yeah, you have to be. Oh no, light went out. Oh well. Yeah, yeah. If you pause at the right time, there's 2 green materia in the Buster Sword, which is really cool.
What's
Neat
the green?
little detail.
What's the green materia?
Green, it's like healing or like magic, like fire. It could be any of those. It's like some type of attack or healing because it's like that's what green is. Blue is like all materia is blue, so it's like it's something that combined with summon is obviously red. Yellow is like increased critical strike or counterattack stuff like that, and then purple is like HP plus, MP plus stuff like that. So yeah, green is like the main attacking material because that's all you get really in Midgar. Like there's that one shop, and it sells you the 3 basic like fire, ice, bolt, and then whatever restore or heal.
I remember
Cure, whatever it's called.
Tell me if I'm remembering this correctly. You have your weapon that holds materia, and then an accessory.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Which are usually some type of bangle or some type of wrist something. It isn't armor, so I'm wondering if they're gonna keep it simple like it was, or if they're gonna add like armor and stuff like that. But I know people love to like dive deep and like customize every single little piece. I prefer it when games are simple. It's like give me a weapon, an accessory, and armor, and that's all I need. I don't need to get crazy with like 10 slots to fill out.
Funny.
Like, to me, that's too much item management.
That's funny because I was thinking about that the other day. I was playing old Tales games, and Tales of Destiny, to be exact. And there was helmet, hand, shield, armor, accessory, weapon,
Jeez.
disc. So many items that you could put on. So you put like
much.
Yeah, it's like you could have a gauntlet, and then you have your helmet, and then you have your cape, and then it's like, jeez. And then you go to the new ones, like, okay, you have this, your armor, and you have your weapon, your armor, and accessory. Okay.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that is how 7 is, because I think it's weapon, armor, and then like I think 1 or 2 accessory slots. I can't remember, but yeah, it's pretty basic.
Sweet. So,
I've also been thinking about. I wonder how they're gonna stuff like the secret, because technically Vincent and Yuffie are secret characters. So I'm wondering if they're just gonna be like you just find them, or they're gonna keep them secret, because you have to imagine like you have to make all those cutscenes and all that stuff, and it's like, do you make it depending on if somebody found those characters or not? Like that'd be a lot of extra work.
They're gonna remake Dirge of Cerberus and make it into like an RPG. It's gonna be another like episode that you play.
That's it.
And you can also play as Zach in another secret episode.
Well, there is a segment in the original game. If you go back to the Shinra Mansion at a certain point,
and you
there's
learn
like a flashback of like the end of Crisis Core.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah,
and it's like the whole scene too.
Well, what's funny is I remember finding that like way later, because I mean, dude, when that game came out when I was little, I played that game like at least once a year, if not twice a year. Like I was always playing that game. And then I remember Connor told me about that, and I was like, wait a minute. And so I went to the Shinra Mansion. I was like, no way, there's this scene that I never saw the first like 10 times I played the game. So I hope they do hidden stuff like that, because that's fun.
With the song and everything. The actual song from Crisis Core, the ending song, which is ridiculous.
Pretty crazy.
Yep. So, we're excited for June.
For more than one reason.
Yeah.
E3 is going to be good.
So, let's move to something real quick. What we've been playing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait. I totally forgot that we had to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
I've been playing... Okay, so for me... Right now, I'm in a gaming rut. Like, nothing interests me at all. None of my games. So, I played to Chapter 5 to Cold Steel.
Uh-huh.
And then I haven't played since. It's fun to redo everything. And I know this is the stuff that you don't like, but I've been talking to everyone. And since I'm doing New Game Plus, I have bonding events for. I could do all the bonding events, everything. So now I'm figuring out everyone's backstory. It's nice. It's nice to learn about everything because I don't know. I don't remember anything about all like any of the guys. So
I know it's always talking to the girls, right?
yeah, yep. So I'm able to do that now, and yeah, I haven't played for a long time, but I need to get out of this rut. All I've been doing has been watching some shows and stuff. So hopefully I'll finish Cold Steel because Cold Steel 2 now has a release date in June. Was it July?
I think it's June. Yeah, I think it's June 4th for America. Yeah.
But yeah, let's hear your thoughts on Cold Steel.
Now, I'm sure you're going to have a response. Allow me to completely share my thoughts, and then you can respond. Because if I get interrupted, I'm
you're gonna lose your
thought. Yeah. Okay. So, for those of you who don't remember, Nick, when the Cold Steel originally came out, he bothered me incessantly to play it, and so I played it and I stopped playing, and then later Persona 5 came out and I loved it. It was amazing. And then right after, I went back into Cold Steel, kind of forgot what was happening, and I finished it and I didn't really like it. And so, but then I played like all the modern Falcom games, like Ys 8 came out, Tokyo Xanadu. I'm trying to think of what else. I even was playing Ys Origin, which is not modern, but I played that. And so I'm like, okay, I get how Falcom does their games. I want to go back and give Cold Steel a try again with PS4 because it's going to have turbo mode. It's going to look better. It's going to run better. Like, it looked horrible on Vita. Well, it didn't look horrible, but it just didn't look as good as it could. And so I'm like, all right, we're getting the PS4 remaster. I'm like, nothing was really out at the time, so I was going to be ready. And so I even went to this ridiculous length to import it from Europe so I could have a physical version that wasn't a Cold Steelbook version. So like, I was really going out of my way to like enjoy this. And so I'm playing the game and I'm going through it, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of like, this is enjoyable. I like the characters. The combat system is still good. I like that. The turbo mode is super helpful for when you go on the field studies, especially because like there's some field studies where it's like if you go east, there's a big area. And sometimes the jobs that you're supposed to do on your field study, like one's on one far end and one's on the other far end. So to be able to turn on turbo mode and run was just so nice. But my biggest problem with Cold Steel 1 is that to me, and I tweeted out somebody else's review that perfectly explains my thoughts, but to me, there isn't like a main story to get invested in like in other RPGs, because like, what happens is, like, here is the loop of Cold Steel. You have a practical exam, which is just a fight to teach you new mechanics. Then you have a free day, and you do random jobs for the student council, which are usually like help somebody find their shoes, drop a book off, like just fetch quests. And then you have the bonding events, which are always fun because you get to know more about your characters. And then usually on the last free day, you have to explore the school. So you're always going one level deeper, one level deeper. And I actually like that because that is the only time where you really get significant chunks to do combat. Because most of the game, you're running, doing fetch quests or whatever. So I love the school stuff because that's when you actually get to mix and match party members. You get to have who you want, especially in the later chapters. And you get a lot of opportunities to play with the combat. I love that. But those always were just too short to me. And then after you do the school investigation, you have a field study, and then that's usually 2 days of boring fetch quests. Change this lamp for me, go kill this monster, go deliver this thing. It's boring fetch quests. And then you finally get like a sliver of something interesting at the end of your field study, but then the cycle repeats. So to me, what's frustrating is the vast majority of the chapters in Cold Steel are you doing boring fetch quests. You don't get enough opportunities to get into combat, and there isn't enough significant story beats to keep me invested. And I get Kimpy sent me this video, and it helped me understand a little bit better. People always talk about the world building. That's what Cold Steel is so good at, the world building. And this video is talking about how oh, you know, this world is going through the orbital revolution, and it's interesting to see how the different cities are dealing with the orbital revolution. And another thing is, like, you talk to one NPC in one chapter, and then you come back in another chapter and they say something different. To me, I don't care about any of that. Like, the main story that Reen is going through, or that your class is going through, that's what's got to hook me. And that, I'm at chapter 4 or 5, and I'm not hooked. I'm like 20 hours in, and I'm not hooked. And that's what bugs me. And I totally get that the trails, the three series that make up this world, it's like this big sweeping epic, and if you play all of them, it like makes it all worth it and stuff. But it's like, I don't have time to play 7 right now. We only have access to 5 of those in English. 2 are coming, and the Crossbells games are in Japanese, and we're never going to get those. So to me, I don't know. Like, maybe Cold Steel 2 gets better. You've played Cold Steel 2, so you could probably speak to this. But to me, that the loop that Cold Steel 1, the game loop is just boring to me. There's not enough to sink my teeth into. So I basically stopped playing, and I started replaying Tokyo Xanadu, and I'm just like, this is more my speed. Like, there's way more combat. The dungeons are way longer. You get more chances to go back and do side quests in there. There's different chances to get to know the characters. There's more of a central plot. Like, what is the eclipse? Why is this showing up? Why, like, how does this involve all the different characters? And I'm just way more hooked into that game. So maybe I'll go back to Cold Steel, you know, once 2 comes out, once 3 comes out, maybe I'll be in a better mood. But that game was just boring me to tears. There were just so many moments that I don't care about the food that we're eating at Gaius's parents' place. They just went on and on and on about how tasty the food is. I don't care. And it's just like, oh my God, there's so much stuff that they have not done a good job at making me care. And I have tried so hard. You have no idea how much I want to love these games, because our whole Discord is into them. Like, a lot of people that follow me are into them. I want to love these games, and I'm doing whatever I can to make that happen. I can't do it, man. Like, Cold Steel is just not for me, which sucks. So anyway, I'll let you talk. Maybe you can make sense to that, but that's my Cold Steel rant.
But you played Trails in the Sky, and it's the same exact thing.
Is it, though?
Yes.
Is it like we go to a town, we do 3 side quests, we move on to the next one?
Yes.
No, I don't think it is.
It's the exact same thing. No, you go, because your whole thing, your whole thing is you're a bracer in training, and you're going to every branch, and then you during the branches you get 4 quests. You do those quests, and then after those quests, you story beat happens, and then you go to a next town, and then you do the same exact thing. It's really funny.
But I feel like in Sky, though, there were more chances to get into combat, and I felt like the story that was happening, like, you got bigger chunks of it. Like, I felt like there was a bigger story happening than there was in Cold Steel 1.
There is. You have to look for it. At the beginning of Sky, your dad's gone, so obviously you want to figure out, and his thing disappeared. But yeah. In Sky, the whole thing about Sky 1 in particularly, is it's building. Yeah. It's pretty much building up to 2, or the ending, which you all know.
That's a hell of an ending.
It's a hell of an ending, right? So, what it is you're being sent to different cities, and you're seeing how the nobles and the commoners are interacting, and you see how everything's escalating. You know something's up. In chapter 2, you totally see. You notice these things. Eustace's dad is building his army for some reason. You're like, why is he doing this? This is weird. And then there's mysterious actors in the background that we have no idea who they are, trying to create conflicts. And so you want to know what's going on there. What's funny, because it's not who you, if you played Sky, it's not who you expect.
Yeah.
But you also, I bet you have no idea who certain characters are in the game. You're like, why is this random noble talking to me, and he acts like they know me? In the second chapter, you know who I'm talking about?
I think so. There is a very long, drawn out cutscene with it's like a noble family sitting around talking about it, like, at a dance or whatever. It's like, who are these people? Why should I care?
Oh,
And the blonde guy with the red coat, I can't even bother to remember his name.
it's Olivier.
Yeah, Olivier, and then his little brother, and then their sister. They're like all talking. I'm like, who are these people, and why should I care? And that's my problem, is that they're doing, like, I feel like Cold Steel, if that is your only touch point into the Trails series, then that, like, it does a bad job of, like, helping you get invested. And if the answer is you need to play the other games, that's a bad. I don't think that's a good excuse.
I mean, you don't need to. You could I didn't play Sky, and I played this just fine. But once you play him again, you totally know who everyone is. Olivier is in Sky. He's the weird, eccentric guy, blonde guy.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So, and then you see enforcers, the bad guys in Sky. You see them in their 3D forms, and apparently in 3 they're really there. So you see that. But yeah, everything's building up to 2. That's the whole thing. It's all building up. The most of the thing is you're learning about what's going. You've seen the conflict grow. You're figuring out who these mysterious actors are, and then you're seeing Class 7 grow. And then it all ends in one huge ending that's just like, what the hell? Like, amazing ending. One of the 10 out of 10 endings. Oh, it's a cliffhanger.
It is. So if their goal was to set up 2, I felt like they could have doled the story out more, because, like you said, like, oh, there's an army building, what's happening there, all these small little pieces. I feel like they drip feed the story to you, man. Like, I feel like you have to go like 5 hours at a time before you get like a smidgen of the story.
Yeah. So the main thing about the first one is that it's all world building. You're building the world around you. You're building the characters, because everyone's like a freaking stereotype at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
By the end, they're not that, because you need to learn about them.
Yeah, I guess.
And then the second one starts right after the ending, and you know what goes down, Taylor. You know.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I'm gonna tell you this: the first part sort of feels like Cold Steel 1. You have to go to different towns. I can't spoil anything. You have to go to different towns. You're in a new area first and foremost. Yeah. So you get to see a new area, so that's cool. But you actually have to go to the towns and find people at the beginning, and then the intermission happens, and then holy cow, intermission has one of the best changes in the world. So, and then the game just completely changes after that. And that's when you're like, thank God, so good.
It's weird because I'm looking at trailers for Cold Steel 3. They're out there. This is not a spoiler, I feel like, but like, it's almost like a different series. Like I get that it's a sequel because Green's still in it, but it's like the circumstances are like totally different.
There's a time jump, and you will know why if you finish Cold Steel 2. Cold Steel 2. There's multiple twists, and you're just like, holy shit.
Okay, well, let me ask you this then, because I've played 1, so it's not like I have to finish the PS4 to like get what happened. Is the payoff in 2 worth it? Because that's my thing. Like it's so the building up of the characters and getting invested and all that stuff. To me, it just happens too slowly. Like if it's like, here's a 50-hour game that's a setup for another game. That's I can't get down with that. People love that. Like Kimpy loves that. Like he was telling me he loves that, and there's a lot of people that love that. And for me, I'm just like, give me a story and give me characters I can get invested in right away. Like give me a hook immediately, you know. And for Cold Steel 1, it's so slow. And I kind of know what you're talking about. Like you said, you didn't want to spoil the beginning of 2. I know what. I was watching some reviews. I'm like, dude, is it even worth playing 2 at this point? So I was watching some reviews and they mentioned what happened. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense because I know what happened at the end of 1. But yeah, is it all? Do you think my opinion can change at all based on what happens in 2?
I really don't know. For me, 2 is way better than 1, like 100 times better than 1. It's just you get to see the characters that you loved, that you grew to know, and then they grow more. So you think you pick, you have your dance at the end of 1, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to tell you what that is, guys. I'm just going to say there's a dance at the end of 1. 2, you could continue with that with the person, or you could go again with someone else, and it's way more deep. And only certain characters are romantic choices.
Oh, interesting.
Not everyone is. Everyone's like, some people like, you're like, oh, I want to be with this. Like, I want to pick this girl. I want to bond with her. I'm gonna always pick that bonding. Sometimes it's not really romantic. It's just like, you're a good friend. I think you're a big role model and you're great. And it's just like, oh, well, she's not my waifu anymore.
I wonder if there's got to be a list somewhere that says who that's available with. Because I'd hate to invest in them just for it to be, oh, well, I'm glad we're friends. I could probably guess, like if I thought about it, I could probably guess who the possible good options would be, but it's obvious. You know who they are, and there's a lot of them. It's just certain. It's interesting that certain ones are not, and you can pick side characters too. Really? Oh, huh.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. So, yeah, Toa, no, but yes, it's funny because Sarah is one of them, and
That's awesome.
So it's just, if they don't do that, like as I say before. If they don't do that in 3, if you can't continue what I did in 1 and 2 with Sarah, I'm going to be pissed off.
Well, it's 2 different publishers, so I'm wondering if they're going to let them...
The publishers have nothing to do with it. It's Falcom, man. I'm talking about Falcom. It's just... Excuse me. It's just, if they force one route, which all the trailers like make it seem like it is, and... the game and 1 and 2 make it like, oh, this is the main character. This is the main one you should pick. Everyone knows who it is.
Yeah.
So if they only make it go that way in 3 and you can't choose anyone else, I'm gonna be mad. But I don't think they're gonna do that. But whatever. We'll see. First we need to know if you're gonna even play 2. This is.
I don't know. I just don't know because I tweeted this yesterday, dude. Summer is jam-packed with so many awesome games like Dragon Quest Builders 2, Fire Emblem, Astral Chain, Mario Maker 2. There's like so many good games coming out. And so I don't know if I'm going to have time right away for 2. I don't know. I have to weigh it, because like with how busy I am with the business and stuff,
and then how you reacted to 1.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 1 had a good ending. Like, the ending was good. But to me, that was the only, like, super compelling part of the whole game, was the end.
So just imagine that, but, like, most of Cold Steel 2 is like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Because, like, to me, here is my ideal JRPG. Like, to me, my prototypical JRPG that I love to get into is something like Dragon Quest XI. Like, big, beautiful world. You get to, like... You go to a new town, you get a new character. You travel to the next town, you get a new character. You know what I mean? Like the prototypical JRPG setup. That's my favorite. And Cold Steel does not do that. It's very unique in the way it tells its story. And it's weird because Falcom does a lot of different series. Okay, let me ask you this: can you at least admit that Tokyo Xanadu is better paced than Cold Steel 1? Like, it gives you more story. There's a better loop.
That's funny because I feel like Tokyo Xanadu is like the exact same thing as Cold Steel 1, except the combat is actiony.
So here's what's funny.
Like the cutscenes are exactly the same. Like exactly the same. Like the same animations and how
like the little
the camera pans really slow, and it's like, and I remember I was doing a stream and I was playing this. I'm like, how did Taylor play this game? How is this one of Taylor's best games? This is really slow. I can't believe the slowness didn't bother Taylor that much. It's really interesting. And then I think about it, I'm like, you know what it is? It's the action combat, and it's the modern setting. I bet you that's it.
So, it's funny that you say that, because it even does the quest thing. Like, I totally forgot it did this. So at some point it's like, oh, well, I got to go to my side job. But then, like, before you go to your side job, it's like, here's 3 side quests that you do. I'm like, I totally forgot it did that.
Yeah.
So it does do the exact same thing that Cold Steel and whatever does. But to me, yes, it's action combat. I like the combat in Cold Steel. That is one of my favorite things about it. There's just not enough of it is the problem. Like, the dungeons in Tokyo Xanadu are longer, and then the side quests you do make you go back into the dungeons, and then you do them again. So there's way more combat, and then I feel like things to move the story along happen at a quicker pace. Like, new characters come along more often. Well, so here's the problem with Cold Steel. Like, typical JRPGs, the way it does it is like, here's a story beat and here's a new character. Here's a story beat, here's a new character. With Cold Steel, you get all the characters at the beginning. Mm-hmm. So you don't get a chance to recruit new characters. So maybe that's it. Maybe that's it for me. It's
all right,
like, oh, cool.
Okay. So then you'll like Cold Steel 2, because it's not like, here's all the characters at once. It's more like, we gotta see what happened after the ending.
Yeah. No, okay. Well,
and then there's way more characters too. There's more characters you could have on your team.
Yeah, I've seen trailers, so I know who some of them are. But
it's interesting, because the second one is the second part of Cold Steel 2 is. If you played Sky 2, you would totally get what I'm talking about. It's exactly like Sky 2, the whole setup. So you have to go to these 4 points in the map, and do these dungeons and all these 4 points. But before that, you could also explore everything else and find things, because you have to explore the world still, and you get every beat you get different side quests, just like in the other ones. You get, hey, do these side quests, and you'll get extra stuff, but you don't really need to do them. But here's the main thing you got to do. But it's more open-ended, and then you get to choose. You get to choose who you want to be in your party, which is.
Oh, thank God! So that was the thing that bugged the crap out of me. Is outside of the exploring the schoolhouse, and even sometimes you couldn't pick it then.
Yeah.
The field study gave you assigned characters, and I had this perfect party in my head, and I got to use it 3 times in the whole game.
Yeah, so in 2, you get to choose whoever you want.
Nice. Okay. Well, maybe it's worth it. With the turbo mode, I know what happens in the story. Maybe I'll just skip the cutscenes. Skip all the cutscenes.
Just skip this. Don't skip the ones that I don't know, dude. They're okay, you said you're in chapter 4, so you did the gala. You're in the big city. Yeah,
I'm about to go there. Yeah, I'm about to go to the big city.
So,
because after that, that's when you go to the beginning, back to the beginning, right? Or the flash forward. Or whatever.
Well, if you're in Roar, yes. If you're not in Heimdall, so that's when everything starts to escalate. I think that's when the game starts to happen like crazy. The good thing about Cold Steel 2 is that you know who the villains are now, because of the ending of 1. You're like, that's the bang baddie. I need to get that guy. So.
Yeah, I like a good mystery, but that was, oh man, it's slow how it doles it out and how they're even involved. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, maybe I'll finish it, but I'm just really digging Tokyo Xanadu right now, so I'm gonna finish that.
Are you gonna finish all of it?
Yeah, probably.
Well, that was a nice Cold Steel discussion. I respect your opinion. All right, I get it.
Okay.
Plus, it's a Taylor thing. Plus, that I get it, but I really want you to play 2.
Okay. Well, I've played 1, so I know what happens. So now it might just be.
Yeah, 2. You get
the rest of 1 and play 2 or something. I don't know.
There's double turbo mode, right? If you hold turbo mode and then you press triangle, it's just like super skip.
Really?
Yeah. So you skip everything really quick. So if you want to do that of things you already know, yeah, I would say just don't like find the characters that you want to bond with, redo those, like watch those, but then like skip all the boring. Like I like what I do because I know what happens in all the side quests is I just skip the side quest, all the dialogues. I already know.
Oh yeah, I don't care. I don't care. Yeah, for sure. Because none of it's interesting. There are like no good, interesting side quest stories. It's just like, oh my gosh, we have to fix the lamp because the lamp keeps the monsters away. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I need to know. I don't care.
Yep. It's just there to give you points.
Yeah. Well, I have on my timer here. I got 10 minutes left. So do you want to answer a couple of questions, or how do you want to wrap up?
Okay, we'll save. I want to talk about one thing first. Okay, one anime thing. Let's talk about anime real quick. All right,
Okay.
Really quick. There's one show that I've watched. I watched it twice, and that is High Score Girl. And that is one of the best animes ever made. I love that show.
Whoa, what? Okay.
It is so good. I remember hearing you saying that you did not like it, and I want to know what episode you got to.
I watched the whole thing. I watched the whole show.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you ended it. I'm like, I was like,
watched the whole thing.
It's like after the second season, after the third episode, when they go to the middle school and all that, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm set. This is great. Like how the ending of the third episode is so good.
Is that when she moves or whatever?
Yeah, when she transfers.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, to me, like,
Okay, I want to know. I want to know why you don't like it.
okay, there's two. You know my thing about like, oh, they never get together. There's no resolved anything.
Mm-hmm.
So the girl, the high score girl, she doesn't talk the whole show. She just kind of makes faces and grunts.
She animates.
and
Yeah, I love that. It's so.
she doesn't talk. And so.
Oh wait,
and then
one second, Taylor. When
Yeah.
did you watch this?
I watched it like right when it came out. So,
So
whenever
you
that
okay?
was.
So did you? So you didn't watch the OVAs then, did you?
No, I didn't know there were OVAs. So
Okay, so
whatever the
does
season.
it end on a cliffhanger for you? If you remember,
There wasn't a cliffhanger. I think it just sort of stops.
did it end on like a challenge from Hidaka, the blonde girl? She's like, fight me. Let's have a battle, and if I win, this happens. If you win, this happens. Is that how it ended?
I don't remember that. I mean, it might have been, but I don't remember something like that.
Okay.
Because here's the show for me.
All right.
Why I don't like it. So like at first I was like, oh, this is so cool. It's like 90s arcade culture. What a cool concept. And it's about this guy and this girl, and they like to beat each other in Street Fighter. But then it's just like it stops being, or big chunks of the show are not about that. It's just like, okay, so she's gonna do a Hadouken, so I gotta do a flash kick, and then when I do a flash kick, I gotta do a Sonic Boom. It's like them playing out the strategy in their head. It reminds me of the
Love is
War show.
I don't remember. I don't really remember him doing that.
Dude, that was the whole show is him in his head plotting out strategy, and then like the blonde girl likes him, and he's like, oh yeah, that's great, and he's just sitting there playing, and she's like, why don't you want to hang out with me? He's like, oh whatever, I'm Guile, I gotta fight, and then that show just annoyed me because I feel like nothing happened.
Really, there's so much that happened, dude.
It's like he likes to play Street Fighter. The high score girl does, but she moves away, and then the blonde girl likes him, but she doesn't really like video games, and so she's trying to get into it, and then I don't know. It just
you don't remember. Okay, so she gets into it.
And then she buys like a Turbo Graphics or something, right? Like
no,
she's
she buys
like, you want to buy my system or whatever?
She has a Super Nintendo, and then she gets a PlayStation. But I can't go into it without spoiling it. So since it's going to be the end of the episode, I'm going to give a minor spoiler warning now. I'm going to be as brief as possible, brief as vague as I possibly can. But there's going to be mild spoilers. If you've already seen it, you can continue listening. If you haven't and you want to see it, skip. I don't think we're going to be able to do questions today, so this is probably going to be the last timestamp. But yeah, if that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back next week for sure. Don't worry, we'll be there. We'll be here. We're not going to disappear for a while again. So, but here is spoilers for mild spoilers for High Score Girl in 3, 2, 1. Okay. So you don't remember. She likes him, learns how to fight, beats him, like destroys him.
The blonde girl?
The blonde girl, yeah. And he's like, oh my gosh, I've let myself go. I need to fight. I need to learn how to fight again, because he fails at getting into the high school of Ono. So he's like really depressed, and he's just staying at home playing consoles. And the whole final arc was him getting his arcade sticks back and getting his balls back, pretty much, and facing Ono and Hidaka. Because at the end, I want to know where you ended, because there's 3 OVA episodes that continue the story, and the original running ends with Hidaka confessing to him and saying, "If I beat you, let's fight. Let's have the rematch that you really want. If I win, you're going out with me. We're gonna go out. If you lose, if you win, then I'll give up." And that's where the series ended at first. Then there's 3 more, and there's 3 more episodes after that. And
I definitely did not watch the OVAs, so that's probably where it ended then.
Okay, so that's that. Yeah, the 3 episodes continue. It was just interesting. I did not know that, because I watched it recently and it had all 15 episodes. So
okay. Yeah, I don't know. To me, like, there's like I guess I like more straightforward storytelling. That like the story was like just frustrating, because it's like, okay, I get that you like the other girl and that she's not there. And then I feel like a lot of the show was the blonde girl trying to get him to like her, and he didn't. Like, it very clearly was not going to happen, and I felt like they spent a lot of time on that plot. And it's like, let's just move on.
I know, because I think she's going to be in the second season. I think she's going to be a major. That's going to be a major thing. And there's a reason why that's there, because she's French. He cares about games. Like, that's his thing. He cares about games. He finds this girl who plays games with him, which is Ono, and she's interesting because she's better at everything than him. So he likes to learn from her. And being a young boy, at first he's like a typical young boy who's like, "Hey, you're a girl. You can't beat me." And then he learns to respect her. And then it's all about him growing up, pretty much. It's not really a story about her or them together. It's more about him growing up and what he does. And his mom's the best thing in the show.
Yeah, his mom's funny.
His mom's his mom is so funny. It makes me laugh every time I see him. I
will say the only non-story related thing that bothered me is how thick their eyelashes are. It's like they have like hair around their eyes.
Yeah, that's
especially
interesting.
The blonde girl. It's like, oh, that looks so weird.
It's very weird. You know what's interesting? Not on that is I see in the credits Arc System Works. There's no Arc System Works games in that system in the anime. I think they're using the engine for the games to create that anime style, because it's all 3D.
Oh, that's interesting. Maybe that could be.
It's also the other thing that really interests me about the show is the whole growing up in the early 90s arcade culture and realizing how fast games evolved. Because it was at the beginning it was like Street Fighter 2, and we know how basic that is. And like 3 years later, it's like Fatal Frame and Samurai Showdown and all this stuff. Like, holy crap, this stuff evolved really quick. King of Fighters.
I was too young to like follow that at the time, but that would have been a super cool time to grow up, because it was just like people constantly battling each other. Like, oh my gosh, Virtua Fighter, a 3D fighting game. Like,
yeah, just seeing like people were freaking out. Or Virtua Fighter 2 is like, this is the future of gaming. And I'm like, wow, yeah, it's pretty. And then seeing Darkstalkers for the first time, it was good. It was good, and I knew like all the games he was talking about, so I was like, oh, this is home. This is home.
The gaming part of it, like, yeah, as the new games were getting introduced, like, it was to me, it was almost a cool like history lesson or like a documentary in an anime. Like, that's the part that I liked. I just didn't like. You really don't like when you know there's romantic feelings there and they don't get together. That's what I noticed that bothers you a lot. Yeah. It's like either get together or don't. Like, don't waffle in this middle ground where it's like, what are you doing? Stop being ambiguous. This is annoying and slow, and it's.
Well, he's not really ambiguous. He's just, he's a guy. He's a freshman in high school. Well, technically now he's a junior, or he's a sophomore, and he's just focused on games. But you see him grow at the final episode, where it's like, okay, oh, you're like, okay, this is it. He has feelings for Ono. Yeah. You watch the last 3 episodes, if you haven't, and then you'll be like, okay, I like this. I like that finally.
Because there is another. I heard they announced a second season.
Yeah, there's a second season, and I have a feeling to know what that second season is going to be about. So
I'll have to give it a watch.
It's gonna be Ono versus Hidaka.
That'd be kind of cool.
It's gonna be that. I know for sure, because she hasn't given up. She has not given up.
Cool. All right. So, unfortunately,
you heard everyone. Everyone heard that alarm. That means we gotta end now. So welcome. Sorry for leaving being gone for a whole year, but we are back.
A whole year.
Oh my gosh, a whole month. I don't know why I said a year. Whole month. I'm sorry about that, but we're back. Episodes should be constant unless Taylor's house explodes. Then we're probably not. That's the only thing that's gonna stop it. If his house explodes.
That's right. E3's coming up. There's a lot of big JRPGs coming up.
Oh my gosh.
2, Fire Emblem, Dragon Quest Builders. There's like a bunch of little games or smaller size franchises too that are coming out. So summer should be interesting.
It's gonna be fun times. Well, we gotta go, or Taylor's gotta go. I could say, but we'll be back next week on Tuesday. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll be sure to answer your questions next time. I know I asked beforehand that we're gonna answer your questions. I didn't know we had the time restraint. I'm sorry, but it's all good.
Next time we'll answer them all.
We'll answer a lot of them, and we'll be back next week. See ya.
See ya.